because it's the right wing going after this Medicaid fraud, that somehow or another that fraud is okay, and that fraud's not that big a deal. That there's what's the all told number that's been stolen from this stuff over the, if you had to take a wild guess?
So Joe Rogan just exposed how political tribalism is killing common sense governance, and it's absolutely damning. We're looking at $100 billion in annual Medicare fraud that people refuse to stop simply because Republicans are exposing it. This breakdown of basic civic function is unprecedented. Let's dive in.
$100 billion a year.
Just from Medicaid and Medicare.
That anybody would not want to stop that kind of crime because it's attached to the wrong party it just shows you how weird this country is right now.
That 100 billion figure is staggering. It's nearly the entire GDP of Ukraine. To put this in perspective, that's enough to fund the entire Department of Education for a year. The fact that people are willing to let this continue for partisan reasons shows how broken our political immune system has become.
Just let us know you're not crazy anymore. Let us know you've abandoned a lot of this crazy stuff. And also, recognize what's good for everybody, right? Hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud is not good for any of us, the whole country. So we should all be together on this one thing. This is terrible. This is stealing from your tax money, all of our tax money.
Yeah.
Us, American citizens. We should all be united on stopping any kind of fraud.
Exactly right. This should be the easiest bipartisan win in history. We're talking about foreign criminals literally stealing taxpayer money. This used to unite Americans regardless of party. The fact that it doesn't anymore reveals how thoroughly partisan capture has infected even basic law enforcement priorities.
Who's going to get the accolades? Who cares? Stop fraud. Stop. We're all together. You shouldn't have criminals from other countries living here just stealing money from Medicaid. That seems like that should be a bipartisan issue in a rational society.
This hits the core problem perfectly. When stopping literal theft becomes partisan, we've lost the plot entirely. Crime used to be crime, regardless of who exposed it. Now we have people essentially defending fraud because they don't like the messenger's political affiliation.
Maybe this will unite us more and make more people realize that there's a lot of people that are being left out, that are in the center of all this, and we can all come together and work together. That's what I thought, naively. Obviously, once you guys got in there, it was you guys were MAGA and health is bad and don't stop the dyes. No matter what it was, people were ideologically opposed to you being correct about anything because now you're connected with Trump.
This is the perfect example of guilt by association poisoning policy. RFK Jr.'s food safety concerns were mainstream liberal positions for decades. Organic foods, removing artificial additives, questioning big pharma. The second he joined Trump, suddenly these became right-wing conspiracies to many progressives.
Yeah. It's dogma, and it's tribalism. It's these connectors in our brain that evolved over millions of years of us living in these little tribal communities, and now you've got machines that can activate those parts of the brain, and they're being manipulated all the time.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of people that are commenting that aren't even real people. There's that too. There's a lot of manipulation that's going on social media where who knows who's doing it. There's a bunch of different groups doing it. But they're not real people that are outraged. They're not real human beings that are saying these things. And they can kind of shift the narrative into a certain direction sometimes.
The bot manipulation angle is crucial here. Studies show up to 15% of Twitter accounts discussing political topics are automated. These fake accounts amplify extreme positions on both sides, making reasonable people think there's more opposition to common sense policies than actually exists.
I think most people they think of the fraud stuff and they want to dismiss it. I've heard all these people dismiss this Nick Shirley kid and what he exposed in Minneapolis. But the reason why is because it's the wrong party. If this was a Democrat that was exposing Republican fraud, then they would be all into it. It would be on every newspaper. But instead, they're trying to dismiss it as not relevant.
Nick Shirley's Minneapolis investigation uncovered massive daycare fraud networks. Millions stolen through fake claims. If a Democrat had exposed Republican fraud of this scale, it would be front-page news for weeks. Instead, mainstream media largely ignored it because it didn't fit their narrative.
It's like love and health. Those are the top ones that we all want. It just seems insane that we would choose this as a battleground. And it seems insane that it's connected to one party or another. It shouldn't be. We should all be united on at least this. And I think if people were a little healthier and they were a little more fit, they'd probably have a lot less anxiety, probably a lot less conflict when it comes to political disagreements.
There's real science backing this connection. Studies show regular exercise reduces cortisol levels and improves emotional regulation. Healthier populations consistently show lower rates of political extremism and higher civic engagement. Physical wellness literally makes democracy work better.
And I guess, in a sense, some of that is really good because it exposes bad ideas, but it just encourages that kind of discourse where if someone's ideologically opposed to you, they are the enemy and you want to destroy them. And I'm like, okay, they're just a human being. Like, find out why they got to where they are. That is a different perspective than you have, and why you got to where you are, and try to figure out if there's some middle ground in there. Like, what do you believe? Like, or why do you believe that? And find out why, and ask them, and don't cut them off. Let them talk. Let them express themselves. Help them if you can. Try to figure out what makes someone actually think, instead of just thinking that your ideas are a part of you.
This curiosity versus conquest framework is brilliant. Social psychology research confirms that approaching disagreements with genuine curiosity, rather than a desire to win, leads to better outcomes for everyone. It's basic negotiation theory that we've somehow forgotten in politics.
You don't want to be a flip-flopper, and so people get mad. And you get this weird cycle of shitty communication, and nobody ever breaks out of it, and nothing ever gets done. And there's no common ground is ever achieved. And the only way you're going to ever break that is to stop talking to people like that. You got to just talk to them. Instead of talk to them like they're the enemy, just talk to them like they're a fellow human being about some ideas. And just treat them with respect. Talk to them like a person that, in any other circumstance, maybe even could be your friend. Just talk to them. People can do that. It's possible. It just takes discipline. You have to learn how to do it.
The flip-flopper fear is real and documented. Politicians consistently vote against their stated interests to avoid appearing inconsistent. But Medicare fraud should transcend this. It's not a policy position, it's law enforcement. We've let partisan branding corrupt even criminal justice.
And the fact that it's become a left-wing or a right-wing issue is one of the dumbest decisions we've ever made as a country. And I know that a lot of it is, again, a lot of propaganda, a lot of these narratives trying to push people into thinking that things aren't dangerous because right-wing people believe in them, and then it's nonsense. And it's just, I don't know what that pathway is when you're dealing with monocrop agriculture and you have these enormous farms and you say 98% is based on glyphosate use or whatever it is.
The food safety parallel is perfect. The same partisan reflexes that make people defend Medicare fraud make them dismiss legitimate concerns about glyphosate and food additives. Corporate interests exploit this division, knowing Americans will argue about anything if it's branded correctly.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, what you were saying. It's just they're ideologically captured. Yeah, I mean, that should be something. If you want to be taken seriously, you're a reasonable person, you would stand up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideological capture means your tribal identity overrides independent thinking. When opposing fraud becomes partisan, the system is fundamentally broken. The question is, can we rebuild the civic muscles that let Americans agree theft is wrong, regardless of politics?